Okay, how are we doing, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Robbie Basel Show. Today's episode, I'm not in the most cheery mood ever, but you know what? For you guys, as usual, it's been a week off for me because I couldn't do the episode due to some stuff going on at school. I'm back in Mineola, and it feels like, you know what? We should be in a more cheery mood today. It's Friday, it's the end of the week, the vibes are high, I'm back home. Why not have some better vibes? Type V in the chat for better vibes, because why not? I sound like a Twitch streamer. But today, guys, I'm starting off with this. I announced it on Wednesday on stream, on the Into the Stand stream. Make sure to watch it if you want to. A link in description. That the WIUR NFL Draft Special is coming back. It is. It is coming back. It is hosted by Into the Stands, me. Colin Curse unfortunately won't be there, but I found a phenomenal duo to replace them. They will be replaced by the Ball Knowers show on WIUR. It'll be the three of us. We're trying to get some guests in. It's all happening at like the last second because we announced it really late this year. Last year we announced it in March. This year we announced it 2 weeks away from the draft actually happening. Things change. Plans, it took a lot of planning to do. Shout out to the WIUR board. A great group of people that I've gotten to know over the last couple of years. They're a great group. Shout out to James, the vice president, for really making this happen. And Oliver, of course, the president. Shout out to those guys. Draft special, April 25th, 7:30 WIUR, to three separate streams with hopefully three groups of guests. I know we're getting one, possibly, and I have backup plans for who else we can get. It's just gonna all happen at the last second, and you guys will hear the announcement on this show of guests. You'll hear it on Into the Stands. Hopefully, we'll have the first two groups of guests known by Wednesday, and then hopefully I'll do an announcement later in the week for the third guest, if we do get a third guest, because there's not a lot of sports shows on WIUR this year, which kind of sucks. But I think we found an ideal group, ideal participants and candidates to be part of the stream. So make sure to check out the stream, April 25th. I'll keep reminding you guys about it. 7:30. Just tune in for a little bit. Type in the chat. I don't care what happens. The last year we had over, and combined from the three streams, over 600 views, which is crazy. Shout out to you guys. You make a lot of this. I believe almost around 600 views. So shout out to you guys. You make a lot of this happen. We had a great viewing last year, and hopefully we have a little bit of a repeat this year. Like I said, we have a great set of hosts with myself, Cam Woolley, and Luke. Of course, we have Luke of the Ball Knowers as well. He'll be joining us. They're about to go on stream right when I'm recording this. But what am I going to be talking about today? We have the Final Four to start. Ladies and gentlemen, your national champion was Purdue. I wish I was saying that. Your national champion was UConn. UConn ended the night by beating Alabama. That game was actually way closer than we thought it was going to be for about 30 minutes. And then UConn blew it open towards the end. UConn was too talented. Purdue beat North Carolina State because North Carolina State had a couple of injuries and got into foul trouble. Purdue took advantage with Zach Edey. They did their thing, set up UConn Purdue like I predicted. Unfortunately, I did not get the champion pick correct. UConn Purdue was a solid game until the last 2 minutes of the first half happened, and then the second half happened. In that span, Purdue went from leading this game, or within like 5 points. UConn led decently big at the half, still under 10. And then UConn blew it open. And UConn won the national championship. It broke my heart. The last time UConn was down in the half in an NCAA tournament game, Iona, a year ago. And eventually it's led them to back-to-back national championships. So congratulations to UConn. They are your national champion in a tournament that was very, very interesting. To some, not most. Let's just recap the stories we had. Because we had UConn running away with the East region. We had some upsets like Yale and Duquesne. We had almost Morehead State, who were really in it with Illinois, and then they blew it open. We had the controversial game with Washington State, Drake saying they got screwed by the refs. Iowa State, who struggled a little bit with South Dakota State. Then we had this part. Not a lot happened. This game was insanity. Illinois and Iowa State. It was a phenomenal game. San Diego State, we knew they were going to be Yale. And UConn was UConn. UConn continued to do UConn things because that's what they do. They are UConn. In the South region, a lot of people hyped up Nebraska. They went out and disappointed. They got blown out by Texas A&M, who then played a great game against Houston. My favorite story from the South region, you can argue it's NC State or Oakland. This is the game of the region, Florida and Colorado. This game was absolute insanity. We're going to click into this. Look how high scoring this second half is. No one knew what was going on for like half the game. It's just the way it is. It was crazy. I didn't know what was going on. Just like the ads that pop up on your screen, no one knows what the hell is going on. Marquette, brief scare against Western Kentucky. A lot of people are hyping up Oakland. After they beat Kentucky, we will talk about what happened with them right after this. Oakland then went out and lost. Duke was great. James Madison, a great story, but then they got killed by Duke. Houston lost. A lot of people were hyping up Houston. In the Midwest region, it was all Purdue. McNeese State broke the hearts of many. Samford, they say, got screwed against Kansas. We had Oregon, and then we had this game in double overtime where Creighton took it to Oregon at the end. And I really hoped Oregon was going to win this game. And then you had Purdue in that region. And out west, we had Grand Canyon have a big upset. Alabama put up 109 in a college basketball game in a battle of no defense. We had the comeback of the tournament, which was Nevada coming all the way back against Dayton. And then Dayton went out and lost to Arizona. But yeah, what a tournament. It was weird. We didn't know what was going on. It was confusing. But it was fun. Because it's March Madness. It's always going to have your storylines. It's always going to have something different every time we go out and you watch an NCAA tournament, whatever it is. But this is the big one. We had some news over the week, during the beginning of this week, and it came very late Sunday night. John Calipari, the former head coach of Kentucky, has signed a deal to become the next head coach at Arkansas, which is just ridiculous. Like, if you think about it, the whole trend started with Musselman, Coach Musselman from Arkansas, goes to USC, out west. Great hire are the Trojans. But Calipari taking a pay cut to go to Arkansas? I don't get it. He goes to Fayetteville because why not? He doesn't look the same with Calipari in red. It doesn't. You can't tell me otherwise. Kentucky then proceeds to, I don't know, they hired a Kentucky alum, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to take a look at the article now. Mark Pope is the next head coach of Kentucky. And while this ad is ruining the whole thing, what a weird situation this is. We all remember when SMU shocked the world and it fired Rob Lanier. And then that's really when this trend started. Andy Einfeld replaces him at SMU. Then Eric Musselman left. And then Calipari went to the Razorbacks. And now here we are from this awesome article by, I don't even know who wrote this. It just says ESPN. Cool. The initial, who I thought was going to be the coach was Will Wade from McNeese. It's not going to be Will Will Wade. We all know the controversy he had, but he had experience in the SEC, and he did a lot of things right in the SEC. He's a regular season champion, made it multiple times to the NCAA tournament. He did a lot of things right. But then we had... they thought they were going to get Dan Hurley. I thought that was pretty stupid. Scott Drew was the other big name, but he rejected them to stay in Waco. And then Billy Donovan, they claim was approached as well. But they went with Mark Pope? Okay. It's a weird one, chat, because yes, he won the championship as a player. He coached at Utah Valley and BYU. But this article says it perfectly. It's a major difference. And it's not the type of coach you would hire at a school like Kentucky. And then we had the perspectives of the ESPN analysts, but we're not going to talk about them. The fact that this happened is crazy in itself. It was unpredictable. No one knew what was going on. For a minute, people thought that oh yeah, we're going to get the coach from Iowa State. We're going to get the coach from this school, this school, this school. Hooray! Mark Pope. I don't know. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, how I feel about this. There was no really wrong hire that they could have had, but it doesn't feel right that they hired Mark Pope. It's like they could have done better. That's about a good way to put it. They could have you always expect someone like this, or a team with high pedigree, to do better. And you see it with the hire of Mark Pope. I don't know. I didn't think it was the right move, but let's go to another sport. Let us go to Augusta National. We are going to golf. Now, for those who did not watch the stream last week, earlier this week, I predicted that the winners of the Masters, my big favorites, were Victor Hovland, and Xander Schauffele, who, of course, are not seen on this board. But someone is mentioned on this board that I did pick as my super wild card. Ryan Fox was my super wild card pick. And he's currently sitting there at 3 under. My other wild card pick was Min Woo Lee. Let's go find where our players are. We'll go through some highlights as well of some people who are playing really well. We will come around and look around to find our boy Xander Schauffele, who's currently at level par. Tiger Woods, who's actually on the course right now. He's at 1 over. There's Phil. He's also at 1 over. But Min Woo Lee, 2 over. Xander's at even. And then our other pick was Hovland, and I don't know where he is. There he is. We're still at 1 under par because he's played. That's right. But let's go into some highlights from today's action. And we'll go with Max Homa, as we'll take a look what he did at the second. We'll go through this entire beautiful par 5 second. This was the tee shot at the second. We all know it's the dogleg left par 5. You can see it on the screen right here. Goes down the hill to the left. It's a great strike. This was we'll take a look at the approach now. This is the second. Of course, downhill, you take a look on the left side. Good strike there from Homa. He gets on the green in 2. He goes on to 2 putts for the birdie. That is, right now, your early leader, tied with Bryson DeChambeau as your early leader for today. The weird story right now is with Nikolai Højgaard from the DP World Tour. He is currently sitting at 4 under par. He shot 5 under yesterday. Another story, Cam Davis, even par today. So the scores are not as crazy as we thought they would be from yesterday. But let's look at another person's highlights. The second person we'll look at for highlights is Bryson DeChambeau. We'll look at his round from yesterday. And we'll go to see what he did at Amen Corner, just short of Amen Corner. This is the par 3 12th. with Bryson. This was when he was at 2 under par over the infamous creek. Oh, beautiful shot. He had that left for birdie. And this was Bryson for birdie yesterday. Drains this one. He will get there. Went to 3. And then he birdied after that 4 of his next 5. He shot 65. He is tied for the lead. And the other player we're looking at, Scotty Scheffler. Let us go up to... I really liked how he played 15 yesterday. Let's take a look what he did. This was the tee shot at 15. Look at the stance. I'm never getting over this. That stance is so wet. It's weird and untraditional. But the second shot, I believe this is... I'm remembering the right person. This was the second by Scheffler. Take a look where this one landed. Beauty. Absolute beauty. He went on the 2-putt from there. He is at 6 under. He has not started his round yet. So at the leaderboard, once again, we'll take a look at it again. Homa, DeChambeau, tied at the top at 7 under par. Scheffler, who has not teed off yet. You have the sense that Scheffler will be the leader going into the weekend. The surprise here is Danny Willett, who hasn't played golf for like 6 months. The former Masters champion. He's at 4 under par. He's off to a good start. Corey Connors, former winner on tour. He actually gave me a golf ball. That's, I don't know, somewhere up there. But Ryan Fox, of course, the other interesting story. The long-hitting Aussie is at 3 under. Also, let me know if you like the idea of me showing some of the shots. I feel like that's a fun idea, and I'll experiment that more in the future. But we have one more sport really to focus on today, and it is the world of soccer. And there is a rule change that is coming into play, and it is the idea of semi-automatic offsides. A lot of fans I know will be in support of this. Let me explain my view. So let's read the statement, shall we, first? The technology will provide quicker and consistent placement of the virtual offside line based on optical player tracking and will produce high-quality broadcast graphics to ensure an enhanced in-stadium and broadcast experience for supporters. Earlier, we already know the Premier League banned ball kids from quickly returning the balls, and there's like violations of other crap recently. But let me break this down for you and why I am partially against this. I was a supporter of VAR in the beginning, and I still partially am. Excuse me. The issue is that they don't implement it right. My response as a referee, here's my badge. U.S. soccer referee. I don't know. Can you see this? Let me try to make sure. There we go. That is my badge. Make the law less confusing for offsides. If you want to implement it right, you could argue you need something like this. And I think a lot of clubs are in support of it because that's what their fans are saying. And you, of course, as an owner, you really most of the time don't want to go against your fan base. Makes sense. My issue here is why. I go to the English FA, who I've been very critical about, for those of you who know. Develop your refs better. Make the law less confusing, IFAB, who create the laws of the game. Like, this should have never had to be in place to begin with. And it's taking, because, like, listen, people want games to be called perfectly. Perfectly. I'm going to go with the more angle as correctly. Look at baseball. With, I think it's the minors who get to challenge balls and strikes. One clip I saw was the ball barely clips the zone into strike. I don't agree with that. because it looked so outside, it looked unhittable, and it was called a strike. We're going to see something similar here. Goal line technology, perfect. I love it, has to stay. This doesn't need to be used because it could ruin the flow of play more. I also don't buy that this is going to be quicker and consistent because they claim that with VAR, and it's not quicker and more consistent. In fact, it's the most inconsistent thing in the world of the sport, other than like certain insanity that's going on in other leagues. I'm not a fan of it because I don't trust the Prem to implement it right. That's why I'm not a fan of it. If I were to, I would be lying to say that I was not worried about how this was going to be implemented. I would be lying straight to your face and you wouldn't trust me anymore. I don't want that to happen. But with the way they say this is going to work, I also don't know how the player tracking is going to work. I'm actually kind of intrigued by that, how they're going to do that. But I'm just not buying it because I don't trust the league. I don't trust how they do things with their referees. I don't trust it. And I'm just not a fan of it yet. Maybe it grows on me, but it's taking the integrity out of the game more and more. As, oh yeah, we want the perfect calls. We want this and that. Stop acting like a 5-year-old when the offsides call doesn't go your way. That's my response to that. So, after we had that insanity, we're actually going to talk about a story towards the end about something that happened, and that we're just going to briefly mention what happened in some other parts of the world. Actually, we'll do it right now. Screw it. I'm not going to pull up this story because it's going to pull up a video of what happened and we're going to get taken down. Let me explain what happened. We are going to the Saudi League. And for those who don't know, I don't like the Saudi League very much. Because the Saudi League cares about money. They don't have fans. Like, if you see the stadiums, like, they have no fans. And it's weird. I'm just trying to pull up the story here. Alright, here's the story. I'm just going to read it out to you so you don't have to see it. A fan at the Saudi Super Cup final lashed a whip at an Al Ittihad player during a confrontation moments after the match. The following incident occurred at the conclusion of Al Ittihad's 4-1 loss to Al Hilal in the final played at Abu Dhabi's Mohammed bin Zayed Stadium. A lot of comments I've seen from this have said since it was in Dubai, something else happened. My response to this: while this is controversial and no one wants to talk about it, I feel like looking at it more and more, there's a couple issues. A couple big issues. One, the fact that this even happened is crazy. How do you allow a whip into a stadium? Like, this is insanity. This should have never happened. I thought, like, isn't this... that's just a stereotype, so I'm not even going to say it. But I thought during games, aren't you supposed to be looking for, like, weapons and stuff? Like, you get, the pyros and stuff, or whatever the heck they're called. Like, we know what those are. We see it in places like France. If you've never seen a soccer game in France, look up Marseille pyro before a match, or like the firecracker? I don't know what the hell they're called. But like the smoke things, or what the I just drawing a blank of what they're called. This is inexcusable. The fact that this happened, I don't care if it happened in Dubai, the Kenyan Premier League, South Africa, Australia, the United States, Brazil. I don't care if this happened in any league across the world. How the hell does this happen? In a final, nonetheless. What the heck were we doing, man? I don't care that it happened in Dubai. It's a Saudi League event, therefore you blame the league. That's what the fans are going to do. And I'm going to side with the fans here. Because this should never happen. The fact that a whip was brought into a Saudi League match anywhere in the world is inexcusable. For any league, from Western Hemisphere to the west to the east, north to the south, this should never happen. I think some leagues around the world will get a little bit of awareness for something like this. I'm done talking about it. I'm so mad about that even happened. Premier League. We're talking about the Champions League last today. Premier League. Fixtures. Let's go over the list. We have a lot of games this week. Full slate of games. Let us look at all of our matches. We have Tottenham against Newcastle, Brentford against Sheffield, Burnley against Brighton, Man City against Luton, Nottingham Forest and Wolves, Bournemouth, Manchester United for Saturday. Let's go over some score predictions. I have Newcastle drawing Spurs. A Spurs team that is not horrible on the road for some reason. But let's just take a look at the stats here. A Tottenham team that has on the road beaten Aston Villa, but have also lost to Fulham. Sung Min is great. He creates a lot of chances. They actually haven't drawn in their last 5, and I think this is going to change. Newcastle is going to continue their streak of being unbeaten at home in their last 5. I think they extended to 6. I think this is going to end a draw 2-2 in this one. Brentford against Sheffield United. Sheffield United coming off that interesting draw last time out against Chelsea. I think they're going to be riding high even more. I think they're going to draw this one against Brentford, a Brentford team that's really struggled to score. I think this game is going to go 1-1. Sheffield gets another point. Burnley against Brighton. Burnley are heading towards you need to win some games, towards must-win territory. And if you look at both of these teams recently, I think if you're betting right now, I would have bet Brighton to score at any point. Brighton to score at any point, because despite Brighton haven't scored in their last 2, they're playing the worst defense in the league, not named Sheffield. That being said, I think Burnley grab at least a point in this. 1-1 draw between Burnley and Brighton. I think this is a big result for both of them. For Burnley, though. Man City, I think, beats Luton Town. It's at the Etihad. It's Luton on the road. I think they're going to get thrashed. I say 3-0 to Manchester City. Nottingham Forest against Wolves, a very interesting fixture itself. A Wolves team, if you look at the table, they have been slipping as of late. But they haven't won since March 9th against Fulham. In the league, they have only won 3 games. 3 games? Sure it is. 3 games since mid-February. I think this is a game where they could really turn it around. Last time on the road, they went out and drew Burnley. I think they have to pick it up. Why not do it ahead of a big match by going out and beating Nottingham Forest? Wolves 1, Nottingham Forest 0. He Chan Huang is going to be your goal scorer. And finally, we have Bournemouth against Manchester United. I think Manchester United should win this game, but we haven't really heard. Let's take a look at Bournemouth. A Bournemouth team that are in 12th have really shocked me this year. If we look at the projected lineups, of course you have to look at Dom Solanke, 16 goals. He's really cooled down though. He hasn't scored since he's only scored 2 goals since the 24th of February. He's cooled down a little bit. I do like United in this match, but it's not going to be convincing. 2-1 to Manchester United. Scrolling down for Sunday and Monday fixtures, we have Liverpool, Palace, West Ham, Fulham, Arsenal against Villa, and Chelsea and Everton. We're going to start with Chelsea and Everton. Chelsea win this game. It's not going to look convincing. Everton's not going to play that attacking. I think Chelsea wins this game 2-1. Liverpool, I think, are going to struggle early on against Palace. That's what happens a lot with Crystal Palace. You struggle, when you start to try and break them down more, that's where the issues begin. I think Liverpool will win this game 2-0. It's not going to be the prettiest start to the world, but I think Liverpool gets it done. West Ham are playing a team in Fulham. Fulham, who don't score a lot of goals. West Ham, who need to go out there and grab a big-time win for their team. And you know what? I think I'm going to go West Ham. A West Ham team that will stay in the race with Manchester United for 5th or 6th. Arsenal against Villa. I have Arsenal winning this game. This is not a biased pick. I'm just going with Arsenal. Go with what you know. We know the way Arsenal has looked recently. We know the title race situation. Arsenal will be rotating for Aston Villa. I think they will be, at least, heading into their match in Munich. We also know that Arsenal are going to be in the mix, rumored to be in the mix for Rafa Leao, who are a top target, apparently, who isn't a top target, apparently, for the team. Why not impress Rafa Leao with a rotation team beating Aston Villa? Arsenal are going to get their revenge match against Villa. I have Arsenal winning 2-1 against Villa. Finally, we are going to head to the UEFA Champions League. I'm not trying it. I'm not singing the song. Nope. You're not getting me to sing that song. You're not. This is the games from Tuesday. Arsenal drew Bayern 2-2. We're going to put on our ref hat again. Do I agree with the decision of the referee for the no penalty shout, for the no pen call on the chance with Bukayo Saka? I agree. I agree it's not a penalty. I think a lot of people in the moment thought it was a penalty, but I believe a lot of fans as well, after watching it more and more, saw that Saka tried to stick his leg out. And I think I agree it's a no penalty. I think the referee got this one correct. Now, the play in a little bit earlier with Gabriel picking the ball up and before a restart after Raya passed it to him. Do I believe that should have been a penalty? I agree again with the referee's decision of nothing at all. There's a law in the laws of the game, Law 18. It's called common sense. The referee blew a whistle as the pass was happening. I think Gabriel going to be able to play the restart. You heard what the analyst said. I don't give a crap what some of the analysts have said on CBS especially. Because at the end of the day, they're like, oh, it should have been a penalty. It should have been a penalty. Shut the hell up. You claim you're a former player, okay. But you don't know exactly what the law says. It's called using your brain. We know that pass wasn't intentional because it was so slow that it wouldn't be deemed a pass. To me, at least. I think the referee got both decisions correct. A 2-2 draw was fair. I also agree with the penalty that Bayern Munich got. So I think this is a fair score. And then we have this game, which... Let me click on this. This was the better match. I'll be honest with you. I know I have to lock in the watch. I don't have Paramount, so you will not be... Hey, there's ads. We start, of course, with the Bernardo Silva goal. 2 goals in very close fashion with Ruben Diaz's own goal. Rodrigo scoring for Real Madrid. Foden and Gvardiol respond, and then Federico Valverde grabs the late equalizer. 3-3 draw. Great match. I am so excited for Wednesday to see how that the return leg goes. And then Wednesday, we had this game. Barca and Paris Saint-Germain. We opened it up with Rafinha, then Dembele and Vitinha, and then Rafinha again, and then Christensen got the winner. Barcelona win in Paris as they take it by a final score of 3-2. And then we have, I don't know why it's not loading, Dortmund against Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid looked more dominant over the course of the match. They went out and beat Dortmund 2-1, setting up your matches on Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday, we have Barca and Paris Saint-Germain. Dortmund, Atletico Madrid as well. And on Wednesday, we will have Man City against Real Madrid and Arsenal against Bayern. If there's a game I'd want to watch, it's that Man City-Real Madrid game. Because I want to see how Real Madrid responds being on the road, being level with Manchester City. Arsenal, I'm interested to see how they look against Bayern, especially on the road as well. And the Tuesday matches, how did Dortmund respond? How important it will be to be at home for them after their struggles against Atletico Madrid. And Barcelona, can they hold on against Paris? A Paris team that we know is going to go very attacking in this game, needing possibly multiple goals to go out there and win this tie against a solid, more solid than we thought, Barcelona team. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's episode of the Robbie Basel Show. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you see, make sure to hit the like button down below. Subscribe to the channel. For now, I'm Robbie Basel saying so long. Enjoy your weekend. See you guys Tuesday. Goodbye, everyone.